Hey guys, welcome to a moment of sanity. So in today's video, we're here to talk about that experience. Life experience isn't everything, you know, especially when you consider someone's counseling. This theme looks really simple, but how to say makes me a little bit anxious because people around me, if they see this video, they might get a little bit pissed. So this makes me a little bit anxious. But it needs to be spoken about. Usually this problem happens with old people. So if you're someone that is in this channel, you might be someone that is trying to live your life coherently. You're trying to be congruent. You're trying to be yourself. You're trying to be authentic. You're trying to be an individual that is congruent, that doesn't have any inner contradiction in itself. And what it means is that you will follow your values. But in the world that we live in, following your values sometimes is seen as something weird. So sometimes when you make some decisions to follow what you think you are called to do, to follow your conscience, to follow your inner self, the true I, people from outside might consider that a little bit weird. And start to criticize you heavily without asking you and seeing your background and why you came to that conclusion. And this happens a lot with old people, that they look to the young people, and many young people suffer a lot because of that. They look to the young people like someone dumb that has someone retarded. Sorry for the word, because nowadays you cannot use the word retarded anymore. But like someone retarded that doesn't know what to do with their lives, and they just appear because they are older to solve every single problem that you have. And supposedly that you like assuming already that you don't know what you're doing, and you're not coherent, and you're just someone dumb trying to experience life. Sometimes the vision that they give about life is that. And I experience that a lot with people that I respect too, because usually I click with people that are older, but when I tell them my age, because I'm 25, they kind of like, they start to have these assumptions about me, and don't ask me why I took the decision that I took, and I'm an individual. I like to think that I'm an individual that is really conscious about what is happening inside me, and sometimes more conscious than people that are on their 30s. So here comes the problem of this video. Life experience is not everything, especially if you are in this journey that I am inside to. And this doesn't matter if you have a religion or not. I am just an individual trying to seek truth and trying to be as coherent as possible and trying to be myself, the true self, the good self. And for someone that is like that, things are not that easy. You don't give like simple solutions to problems. You need to really go in. You really need to listen to. And people that are older, really often, they don't listen to. Why? Because they have life experience. Oh my God, they have life experience. And this makes me really, you don't know how pissed this makes me feel. This makes me feel really pissed because they have life experience, because they are in a different stage of their lives. Sometimes their lives suck in any sense. I look to them and like, I don't want to be you. I don't want to be you. They are not inspiring in any sense. They are not honest in any sense. But just because they are in their 30s, they think that they can give advice to you. They think that just because I'm 30, he's 25. I'm 35, he's 35. I'm 40, he's 25. I'm 50, he's 25. I can give advice to him. And I am wrong. I'm right because I'm older. It sounds like something stupid, but this happens a lot. And the younger you are, the more you suffer because of it. The older you get, the things that you start to speak, you might be speaking the same things that you were talking 10 years ago, but people just listen to you because you're 25. And these suck. And I think that the cause of this came from a mentality that we have from before. A mentality from a society that didn't have internet, didn't have television. Because a society that didn't have television, this is a hypothesis, okay? I'm not really sure. History is not my strength, but I'm seeing, like, analyzing people that are older and they're describing their childhoods and describing how they lived, and you're trying to do an imagination exercise, you can guess, in a world that internet is not true, in a world that television doesn't exist, the only contact, the only human contact, and the only examples of life that you can find are people that are around you, like are your parents' friends, your cousins, and etc. And if you can get the other side of your city to have the experience of other people's life, it's already really a lot, And if you met a philosopher in your life to make you reflect a little bit, it's already a miracle, So usually your experience will be your family. So human experience, life experience will be just your surroundings, your work, and etc. But guess what? Most people live life the same way. Like in another video I was talking about authenticity and talking about just being yourself. Most people here are the crowd. Like Ortega Gasset would say, this Spanish guy, that talks about the psychology of the crowds, like the people that don't want to be anything, they just want to be part of a crowd, like they don't want to be an individual. They want to be collective. They want the I disappear in the collective, you get what I mean? Not being themselves, not even thinking about their values and etc. Just disappearing, not worrying, just people pleasing and etc. And because of that, because most people live like that, even if an individual try to take their lives seriously, it will be really hard to transcend that because you don't have the means, And because of that, on that time, you're listening to someone that is 5 years ahead of you, someone that is 40, on their 40s and you're 25, like 15 years ahead of you, or someone that is, I don't know, on their 50s, will be really useful because they will tell you, and sometimes they will, fix some stuff that in your environment, you're struggling and etc. And in those cases, experience itself might be a solution to some individuals, But on those times, you still have books, you still have a bunch of stuff, okay? With the coming of television and specifically with internet, now you don't have just contact with people that are in your surroundings. You have contact with people all around the world. You have contact with all the chaos of the world, and sometimes in a really young age, and that's bad in itself, but that has one of the good effects. If we were to talk about internet, one of the good things about internet, with all the bad things that it brought, one of the good things about internet is that it brought the good examples of the world. How many people, how many young men didn't find inspiration in Jordan B. Peterson? How many young men didn't find, from my country, from Brazil, didn't find inspiration in Olavo de Carvalho? That is a philosopher. This guy is amazing, man. Like, he changed the direction of my country. You get what I mean? That's how amazing he is. How many young people didn't find inspiration in other people, Of course, many young people find inspiration in Bushido, in K-pop, in all these guys, and try to copy their lives. Like these people that are fucked up in their lives, like they are smoking drugs and etc. and wanting to have suicidal thoughts and etc. But many of these people, and including myself, I find inspiration in Jordan B. Peterson. I find inspiration in philosophers, and they told me the importance of the wisdom of the past, especially existentially, And in this case, the life experience that I'm having is not the life experience that a common person would have. You are enriching yourself with the wisdom of 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years. With the philosophical tradition. Classics are not written from day to night. It's not someone like coming here and like, ha ha ha, I will write a Crime and Punishment from Dostoevsky. Ha ha ha, I will write the Divine Comedy, from Dante. It's not like that, my friend. It takes years and years and years of meditation, of digesting true knowledge, from other classics, from the tradition, from the big, the huge, the giants. You get what I mean? In this way, I enrich my life. I enrich my life experience, not in a natural way, But I can I can expand my horizons. I can make my horizon so huge, and I can know a priori what is to die. I can know what is to be poor. I can know what is real misery. I can know what is the example of true heroes through literature and through true people that try to apply this literature to their lives. And seeing the results, I can like give, take the good that they have and continue in the tradition. You got what I mean? And then nowadays, what happened is that we do have these teenagers and these men or women that are trying to take their life seriously, and trying to be coherent. But these people that are in their 30s, on their 40s, they don't know how to give good advice. And this is pride, this is vanity. And if you're inside of the church, you're a priest or a bishop, you should stop that because that's demonic. You get what I mean? The thing is, just because they are older, they think that they have more life experience than you, but that's not necessarily true. Because if your life experience, my friend, is based on the great man, you have more life experience than someone that is under 50s. A way that it's easier to explain the problem is, imagine that if you enrich your life with these philosophers, with these thinkers, with these psychologists, and etc., you're trying to become a pilot. You're trying to drive a racing car, man, like really fast, requires a lot of skill. That's your life, a racing car. You're training for that, to live in a racing car. Common people, they're taxi drivers. They just observe, the experience that they have, and maybe in most good cases, they would, try to monetize that or something like that. They're taxi drivers. You tell me, if you're a pilot, if you are you're driving a racing car, would you ask advice to a taxi driver? Would you ask? Maybe the taxi driver should ask you advice, because you could give him advice. And someone could say, but you're Daniel, the nature of the two cars are different, right? Like how the taxi driver could ask you advice. He could ask you advice about life, how you didn't give up, and etc. There are things that are in common to all humans just because we are humans. Although we have individuality, I believe that you that are watching me, you have a different mission than me, and a different mission from your brother, and etc. And that's the thing, So most people are taxi drivers. Most people are not even taxi drivers. They're just normal drivers, because they're not even making money off that. They just take the script of society and doesn't have any critical thinking. And usually they're lied through universities that having that they have critical thinking by accepting this script. This is another video talk. And that's what pissed me off, because if people asked me why I took the decisions that I took, I could give you a whole explanation of sometimes 3 hours, just so we can be in the same page. You got what I mean? Just so we can be in the same page. My girlfriend that lives near me and knows me more closely, she knows that. When I tell her, nowadays she gets it. Like, I tell her the things like, I totally get you, Daniel. I feel the same. You get what I mean? Nowadays she gets it. God that is watching me, and I hope that I'm making me happy with this, but also, that is closer to me, is more intimos than my intimos, like St. Augustine would say, And this is a video to say that, my friend, if you're feeling alone and you're taking the advice of older people, I'm not telling you to not hear them at all. Sometimes they have pearls, Sometimes they have, and sometimes just listening to their story will enrich your story, But don't put them in a pedestal just because they are older. Sometimes you're right, you got what I mean? Sometimes. And you will become more common than you think when you start to take life seriously. And some people that you could swear that they are strong, that they are amazing, that they humiliated you when you were younger and etc., you start to see that they are children, in an older body. You start to see that they are just insecure men and insecure women. Just do your thing, man. Just do your thing, enrich your life, and etc. You know, so I was making this video. This is the second time that I'm making this video to make more clear my point more clear. You know, and this is the thing. Life experience is not everything. Is when I say life experience is the natural type of life experience. Enrich yourself. Enrich yourself with the classics. Enrich yourself with good men. Enrich yourself with good examples. Enrich yourself with the heroes. You know, because they pass through the strugglings that you are struggling now, and their advice is more valuable because they are driving a racing car. They are not driving a taxi. So if you like the video, you have any question, please leave in the comments if I wasn't clear, because many people say that I go too much around the stuff and I want to be more clear in my videos. So if you have any questions, please leave in the comments and I might make a video about it, and you guys give me even ideas to make videos, okay? If you like it, please smash the like button, okay? And see you next time, and have a sane weekend.